Hi guys, Richard Liu here, editor at nzentrepreneur.co.nz, and today in Innovation Nation, I'm stoked to be talking to Olivia Wensley. Olivia is talking to us from Queenstown, and she is the CEO at startup Queenstown-Lakes. So, hello Olivia, thanks for joining us.
Hey Richard, thanks for having me.
Yeah, awesome. I wonder if you could just start by quickly telling us, for those who haven't heard of startup Queenstown-Lakes, who are you, what are you, what are you all about, and what do you do there as CEO?
Cool. So Startup Queenstown-Lakes, it's a charitable trust, and it was set up to help diversify the Queenstown-Lakes region and to attract different companies and just foster startups. So yeah, we're lucky to have an awesome board, and which you are on. So we're lucky to have Richard as one of our trustees. And yeah, so we've got a great board with great people, and we've got a really neat team. So we get to work with lots of entrepreneurs doing really exciting things. So we do a whole lot of things with it, like I guess we're sort of the catalyst in the ecosystem. So we like to connect people and make things happen. So whether that's connecting entrepreneurs with other entrepreneurs, but they could meet their co-founder, or connecting people with investment, we like to sort of make things happen. So yeah.
Cool. And so for those who maybe not so familiar with the region, where exactly is Queenstown-Lakes? You know, what sort of population we're talking about here? And as you point out, Olivia, yeah, so disclaimer, obviously, so I live in Wanaka, and I am a board member for the Startup Queenstown-Lakes Trust Board of Trustees. So I know a little bit about the organisation, but we're obviously having this conversation for those who don't. So yeah, just can you give us a flavour for sort of the area? What regions exactly is?
Sure.
Yeah.
So in Queenstown, I mean, the population varies quite a lot. It can go up to sort of 45, 50,000 during peak visitor times, but I think that the base population would be in the 30,000 range, 30 to 40. And what about Wanaka? What's Wanaka at the moment without tourism?
So I believe last time I checked, I think we're sitting at around 11 or 12,000 permanent population. Like I say, that does ramp up fairly significantly over holiday times.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, you know, I think a lot of people have the perception of our area being Queenstown, Wanaka, down to Glenorchy, sort of that sort of general area.
Yes.
Would it be fair to say, do you think, that our traditional economy or local economy has been fairly pretty much established around tourism? Are there any other industries you think of that when you think about our area?
Well, half of our region's GDP contribution comes from tourism, and it accounts for 63% of jobs. So there is a very significant tourism industry in town. But it's not good to have all our eggs in one basket, which is why our organisation got set up, because the local council, which is one of our sponsors, set up our organisation, assisted to set up our organisation after the realisation that they need to be focusing on diversification.
Right, yeah. And so, and as we know, you know, the last couple of years, not just for Queenstown-Lakes area, but, you know, all across New Zealand have been dramatically affected by the COVID pandemic.
Yes.
All of a sudden, you know, tourist tap has been turned off, and there's a real sort of, you know, urgency, isn't there, around that, as you say, diversification of especially the economy down in this part. So can you tell us a bit about, I guess, strategically, how Startup Queenstown-Lakes aims to aid that diversification? You know, so you mentioned sort of programs and that kind of stuff, but
yes,
what are some of the other areas, do you think, that maybe there's opportunities for our entrepreneurs to branch out into?
So we're seeing a lot of tech companies that are coming to town or wanting to come to town. So I think that is an opportunity that's really, really exciting. We have startups from all kinds of ranges. We've got ag tech, we've got med tech, we've got people who make physical products. We have software companies, all kinds of interesting stuff. But I think that the real potential is to pick a niche, and the niche that I want to focus on is AR and VR. and sort of, so film tech basically. So tying in with our dominance in the film industry, I think that it's quite a natural fit. So I think that's certainly an exciting opportunity for our region to diversify into.
Cool. So AR, VR being augmented reality and virtual reality.
Correct. Yes.
Yep.
And just sort of screen technology. I mean, there's a lot of things. It's hard to sort of segment it neatly, but there is a lot of crossover with gaming, film, just sort of digital immersive experiences.
Right. Okay. So there's as many of the people watching will sort of be able to relate to, in terms of growing that pipeline of entrepreneurs and local, I guess, entrepreneurial capital. There's a couple of strategies, right? One is to attract people into the area, and two is to develop our local talent. Mm-hmm. So what's your take on each of those sort of avenues? And is there, what's SQL trying to do in regards to those?
Well, it's quite interesting because the government has recently given a fund for diversification, and we're thinking, how do we best spend this to diversify our region? So it's a $20 million fund. And so what we're thinking the right balance is to do a third, 1/3 startups, developing startups, 1/3 developing other industries, other established companies, and a third on attracting new industries to town. I think that's quite a good idea. I think that's quite a good balance.
Cool. So let me ask you a little bit about the specifics of some of the programs you're running there. So what do they look like? For the average, say, local person who maybe has a business idea, how exactly do they engage with the organisation, or specifically what sort of capability or knowledge can you help them with?
Good question. So we have a lot of people come to us and they have an idea, but they don't know how to get started. So what we offer is a way to get their idea and turn it into a fully fledged business plan ready to launch. So what we do is we offer one-on-one sessions with our business advisors. So anyone can get a free 15-minute consultation just to talk about their idea with someone who's able to help. So then we have 2 courses. The first one is called Kickstart, and that's basically getting your idea down onto paper. And so it's going through all the fundamentals of what is required to have a feasible business plan. Then the second course we do is Liftoff, which is the next stage. So Liftoff, you've got your business plan, you've got your concept, and now it's about the practicalities of launching. So how to actually make your business plan a reality. So yeah, and so then we work with companies once they're further developed, and we help them to attract investment, get investment ready, and then attract investment. So yeah, and so we do a lot of supplementary sort of workshops, networking events, all kinds of stuff, just to get the community really working with each other, which is lots of fun.
And the organisation is relatively new, so it's quite a big thing for the region. How would you say the response has been, or what sort of impact are you seeing in terms of actually helping entrepreneurship go faster in the region?
Well, it's been just amazing, actually, because I took on this role 2 weeks before COVID hit. And it really sort of what I had wanted to achieve and what has been achieved, it sort of accelerated us by about 5 years, because it's really given people the impetus to get moving if their business, basically if people need to start up something new, or sort of if they've lost their job and they've realized that they can go for it, go for their, make their dream happen. So COVID has actually been fantastic for what we're trying to do and getting people to take the leap and start up their own business. So yeah, so I've been really, really impressed with the resilience and innovation of people in our region. It's just been incredible to see people, instead of getting broken by what's happened, they've actually become really, really strong and innovative and thought of ways of how to get out of a bad situation.
And can you give us any details around number of people through your programs, or that the organisation's touched, I guess, over the last 12, 18 months?
Yeah. Yeah, sure, sure. So I think in total enrollments in our programs for the last 2 years, sort of post the arrival of COVID, not post-COVID, we're not quite clear yet, is about 240 founders now. So we've got our 4th course, which is kicking off today. So it's our 4th kickstart for, so that's our beginner program. So yeah, so a total of about 240 founders,
Cool.
which is excellent, so good.
Yeah, for a region, size of ours, I guess, it's great to see, so yeah, long may that continue.
That's right.
And of course, we're seeing some pretty cool stories come through the Innovation Nation series as well, on people, who have built businesses in the area and are working on some pretty exciting sort of startups. Yeah.
That's right. I'm just amazed at the innovation that's coming through and people just going for it, having good ideas. And I mean, we just help them sort of execute on their idea, but they're the ones that come up with these amazing ideas. And I'm just so proud of all our entrepreneurs that are just going for it.
Can you touch a little bit on the investment side of things? You mentioned,
sure.
A part of the work is getting local entrepreneurs investment ready.
That's right.
So what's the, I guess, what does that pathway look like for people in our area?
So basically, we do a lot of education on investments. So we get New Zealand Trade and Enterprise. They come down and do workshops on preparing for investment, and we also have venture capitalist companies coming in and doing workshops as well on what they're looking for. So basically, how to attract VC money. So we do, it's through workshops, and then once we've got somebody who's actively raising, what we'll do is we'll work through their pitch and get their pitch and pitch deck looking great, and then we'll connect them to our network. So if there's anyone looking for a particular kind of investor or a mentor, we'll connect them with them. And we host pitch nights, so in conjunction with the mainland angel investors who we sponsor. So that's a collaboration between Startup Queenstown, Coin South and Invercargill, and Startup Dunedin. And so what we do is we do showcases showing off our startups that are looking for investments. We'll do pitch nights and investors come along and look at that. So yeah, so it's good.
Cool. And again, it's a relatively new, I guess, collaboration, isn't it? The mainland angel investors. The concept being to make it easier for local entrepreneurs to access local capital, or?
Yeah, it's about sort of, and the reverse as well. It's about getting local investors into, like, getting them educated about investing in startups, because it's a great thing to invest in, but people don't know enough about it. And so that's sort of a lot of what it's about as well, investor education as well as startups, getting them investment ready. It works on both sides.
Cool. And so looking forward to, say, next year, 2022 and beyond, what sort of new initiatives, if any, are sort of, on the horizon?
Well, we've got, in about 18 months, the Innovation Centre is going to open in Queenstown. So I think that that's going to be a really good way to build the community, because we'll be physically present, and a lot of startups and tech companies are looking at getting leasing the premises there as well. So I think I'm really excited about that. That's going to be the next big movement for getting startups really going in Queenstown. But another thing that we're organising, which will be really fun, is we're going to do a virtual reality and augmented reality summit. So we're going to host that here in Queenstown, so get the industry together and sort of show off the latest technology, and I think that will be really, really fun. So that so we're looking at about March next year for that one. So yeah, it'll be good.
Cool. And in the meantime, it's more of the same, just helping those entrepreneurs through the programs, upskilling them, and connecting them up.
Yes.
Cool. Yeah. Well, look, thank you so much for talking to us today and telling us about the work you're doing there. Is there anything that you'd like to sort of leave our viewers with in terms of a final message, or just comments about entrepreneurship, innovation, or anything on your mind?
I think that if anyone's watching this and they've always sort of thought about having a satellite office in Queenstown or Wanaka, I'd really recommend that you consider it and reach out to us, because we have a lot of people contact us from outside the region, and they used to think it was too hard to live here, but since COVID happened, we've just had so many people relocate. So I'm more than happy to give a welcome to you and introduce you to people that can help make a move, or at least another office happen.
Thank you so much again, Olivia. That's been really cool talking to you.
Thanks, Richard.